got another one here. Just kind of, some of the stuff you see where, you look around in the gym sometimes and you just notice people are just kind of, it's almost like they're overthinking and overcomplicating everything, when lifting is really, at its heart, a simple, basic phenomenon. And, as the human species, we've pretty much known like 90+% of what you got to do to get strong and big, build muscle, build strength. We've had most of that figured out for a long time, right? And, the innovations that do come about are small. They don't move the needle that much. I mean, yes, we're still advancing, but the vast majority of what's out there in terms of what works for building strength and muscle, it's pretty much already known, and we've known it, and it's relatively simple, right? So, but still, everybody's got to overthink everything, right? And this comes from social media, right? You got to have something to talk about. I'm a back to the basics kind of guy myself, and that's what I preach. Keep it simple. There's really nothing fancy about it. You don't need some, freaking quadratic equation to solve how to put some muscle on, right? But that's what people do on YouTube, fitness, social media. They're always gonna, act like they found some, massive innovation, some big game changer. Everything's a game changer these days, I mean, but, like I see these guys in the gym and they're using the pendulum squat, which is a great machine. And, I kind of like the leverage. It sort of puts a little bit more on the knee, but if your knees can handle it, you can get real deep on that thing. You can get super deep, and you'll really, feels like it, maybe biases the quads a little more. Like you can never take the hamstrings and the glutes really out of any squatting movement, but it does feel like it hits your quads. But I see these kids on there, and I don't know. I can't really even tell like how old some of these young kids are sometimes. I'm like, are they 18? Are they 25? I don't know, but somewhere in that range. And they're, they got, now mind you, this machine, you can't just load this thing up with plates, like most people are, maybe put 2 plates on it because the machine itself is like a decent resistance, but these guys, they got a 10-pound plate on there, right? And, there's, but the crazy thing about it is then they got the resistance band, on the part where you put the plate. They got the band on there, and it's a big blue band, and it's, I don't know what the resistance of the band is, but first of all, they're barely even at the top of the motion, which is where the tension of the band is being applied. It's like barely tight. There's still a lot of like slack kind of, you can see it in the band. It's not even really giving all the resistance. It's the wrong size band. But I'm like, guys, you got a 10-pound plate on the machine. Like, why are you even bother with the banding? All because you want more tension at the top, right? Make the lockout harder, get that nice squeeze on the quads. I get the theory behind it, but these kids are in no position in their lifting journey to be needing to do anything like this. I mean, it's just like, just slowly add more weight, guys, right? Like, okay, I hate to be like, oh, these weak people with the 10 on there, like put more weight on, but in this case, I glance at their set and they're not even struggling, like they're not even giving it an effort. It's clear that they could add more weight. It's not that they're just like brand new and 10's all they can do. Okay, if that's the case, sure, but you can see when somebody's pushing it and they're not pushing it. So it's like, just put a 25 on there, all right? Or put 2 10s on there. Do something to make it happen. But what you're doing is just, it's not doing anything, and it's just overcomplicating everything, and all the variations of all these movements. It's like, I mean, just focus on the base movements for a while, just your bread and butter stuff. And if you just did that and just focused on adding weight and progressing, you're going to go a lot farther than, trying to do all these variations and all this. I mean, mostly it's junk for the most part. Maybe you get like a tiny optimization out of it. But again, like, we've known how to get big and strong for a long time. And, you know, mostly all that's gotten better is the drugs for people that do them. You know, and to some degree the nutrition, maybe in some aspects, but, you know, also not in others, because food quality has gone down over the years in general. So that might be a wash. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, you know, there's just no reason to overcomplicate all this stuff. You know, if you're not at least pretty far into your journey, like if you're not like a year or two lifting, like, just leave the bands at home, you know, unless you use them for warm-ups. But even then, you're not really strong enough to hurt yourself. You don't really need to do banded warm-ups when, you know, you can't even bench a plate, or you can't, you know, I mean. So yeah, it's just, you always see this stuff. You always see these weird variations and just complicating everything. Like, just keep it simple, all right?